welcome you to Calgary Music Tutor. This is your host. Today, we're going to be talking about intervals and chords. The first of the series is on intervals. So we're going to be looking at different intervals. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth intervals. We have to say that some of the intervals are known as major and minor, and some of them are perfect intervals. So the intervals of second, third, and sixth are major, second, major third, and major sixth. And we have minor second, minor third, minor sixth, and the intervals of fourth and fifth are perfect intervals, perfect fourth, and perfect fifth. Go along with us as we illustrate these intervals. First, we start with what is an interval. An interval is the distance between two notes. You would count the lowest note of an interval as 1. And then you count the numbers up from the lowest note, which usually is called the roof. And then you count it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And each of the numbers represents the degrees of the major scale, mostly. It could also be the degrees of the minor scale. The easiest way to see how this works is to illustrate using the key of what? C major on the major scale. When I say the major scale, we're talking about the major diatonic scale. Let's take it between C and D, for example. But before that, we need to differentiate between the half step and the full step. The half step is the smallest interval on the piano or in Western music. The half step is the 1/12th degree of the major scale. It is the 1/12th degree of the major scale. And 2 half steps make 1 whole step. For example, if we look at the interval of second, C to D is a whole step, which is made up of 2 half steps. So in this case, C would be 1 and D would be what? 2. That interval between C and D, which is a whole step, is called a second. The next one is C to D. In this case also, C would be 1, D would be 2, and E would be 3. The interval between C and E is called a third. As I said earlier, we have 2 types of second and third intervals. We have the major and we have the minor. So let's go back to the second. The minor second is between C and C sharp, while the minor third is between C and E flat. Let's move on. The interval between C and F is referred to as the perfect fourth. It is referred to as the perfect fourth. Why is it a perfect fourth? Why do we use the word perfect? It is because on any scale, on any key that you start from, whether it is C or D or D sharp or E, you still get the same interval between them. The interval of a perfect fourth can be demonstrated as you see on the screen. So if we take C to F, if you put your finger, number 5 finger on your left hand and number 2 finger on your left hand on both C and F respectively, and you keep that interval of your finger and you use that on between D and G, you discover that you have exactly the same interval between different keys. All you need to do is just to move your finger around. So that is the reason why it's called a perfect fourth. A perfect fourth has 5 semitones. It is 5 semitones up. For example, on C, it is 5 semitones up from C. So if you count between C and F, you have 5 semitones. That is the interval of a perfect fourth. And the same applies to all the 12 keys on the piano. Both the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth are perfect intervals, like the octave. And they have some harmonic connotations to them. That's why they are called perfect. So if you play between C and F like this, you have very nice sounding and consonant sound. And if you play perfect fifth like this, you have also a consonant sound. That's why they are called perfect. The next interval we're going to be talking about is the sixth. The interval of sixth is this interval that is 6 levels above the root. In this case, if we take the key of C, for example, it is from C to A. That is a perfect interval. That is the interval of sixth. The interval of sixth is not perfect interval. It can be major or minor interval. And if you invert the sixth interval like this, you get the third interval of third, if you take it down. The interval of sixth can be major sixth, minor sixth, diminished sixth, and augmented sixth. We would take them in a separate video to explain further how those intervals come about and how many semitones make up each one of them. The major sixth is made up of 9 semitones, and the minor sixth is made up of 8 semitones. We also like to add that intervals can be melodic, in which case you play the notes of that make up the interval one after the other, or harmonic, when you play the notes together. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave us a comment if you think that maybe we have omitted anything, and give us a thumbs up. Expect more videos. You can go back to our channel. We have a lot of videos on music and musical theory. Thank you for watching.